All right, I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. One thing that I've realized is Kai Cenat is doing the right thing. But before I even get into that factor of like Kai Cenat doing the right thing, I want to update you guys on what's going on currently. So ideally, this would have been the week I would have started making content, like back-to-back content. It's not sound like an excuse, and I don't want it to sound like an excuse. However, my tripod's in the other car. I completely forgot about it, and I haven't still got my car back because they were still waiting on the part to come in to then put on the car for me to get the car, which that was supposed to happen Monday, and today is Thursday. I don't know what to tell y'all. So I had this car, roughly speaking, for almost an entire month. And I say that because I think I went I forgot where I went to. I thought it was like a site or something. And it was like, yeah, I believe the same day I've put the car for shop, same day I got this car, and it's been, roughly speaking, 20-something days since. I want to say at this point now it's more like 25, 26 days. I'm trying to see if I know these people, and I don't. But I had this car for a minute. I still don't have to pay anything in terms of just having a rental and whatnot. But I'll also say all that to say I got suspended from my job. I got suspended. I'm supposed to do training via the app, and once I've done that, I can come back on whatever schedule I have and work, and then if I get in trouble again within the 3 months, then my account in itself will just be terminated. Now, what did I do to get suspended? I sped between 8 and 10 miles over the speed limit 3 times in one day within about 5 hours of my shift. Have I been doing speeding? If you count me speeding 5 miles above the speed limit, then I will say yes, I have been speeding. I've sped a couple times, a couple days in that case. For the last couple of my shifts, the camera hasn't gone off. They haven't called me about anything. So far, I've been good. Why I've been doing that was because, well, that's the only way I can actually complete my task. Especially before the timing of when I'm supposed to get back. Now, I don't fully understand Amazon enough where I know if I don't complete routes, then they're not going to hold it against me for not completing routes because I only have but so much deliveries left. But if you do want to finish routes, it's like, okay, so I got to hop out the car fast enough. That's hoping that the person puts their dogs away, hoping that they shovel their driveway, hoping that the destination that it takes for me to get to them is not rigorous for me to pull the car in so I can get to the driveway to get to the house, hoping that the roads aren't sleek, hoping a lot of things. Just hoping all that doesn't happen so it doesn't slow down me to get these stops completed, because then now I get in trouble for it. Let's say even that's the case. Let's say that I am doing 30 and I haven't do 35. In some cases, I kind of have to put a little effort just to get out the road because the car doesn't necessarily have the best acceleration. So there's the times where I did get in trouble. Mind you, it was not on purpose. Let me also clarify on that. It was not purposely like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go 40 on a 30. It wasn't the fact that I even went, let's say, 40 on a 30 for even 3-4 seconds. And my girlfriend has, me and her has talked about this and saying that I would, stay steady and whatnot. I ain't gonna lie, I was just a lot nervous on the fact of like, I felt like I would have gotten fired by not completing my routes. And I know they're like throwing certain routes at me to see if I can, manage and do this and the third. But I'm like, I don't know if I can do these routes if I got to drive the way I'm driving. And I'm looking at everybody else. I'm like, okay, so how do you guys do it? And they telling me tips and tricks and letting me know, speed's important. It sounds like, okay, cool, speed's important. I'm doing these tips and tricks. Cool. So, did them. Like I said, for the last couple of days, and nothing until that day, and all of a sudden I'm starting getting like hit back to back to back. And the funny thing is, if it is what I think, because we weren't specific on exactly, well, they were specific on where. I don't know where the hell that street is. You're sending me out to a whole different part of town / city that I've never been in, and want me to figure it out. So, especially in the area I'm in, it's back roads. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all can look it up yourselves. As far as I know, state law is if you don't see a miles per hour, assume it's 55. Obviously, if you're in a city-like area, it's going to be more along the lines of, what is it? School bus stop, but didn't put their sign on. That was weird. Anyway, I'm just saying, if you're going to stop and drop a kid off, I think you need to put your stop sign on so people can actually know they need to go by or not. That was just a weird moment. Anyway, I almost lost my train of thought. So, the back roads, 55 is a state. Obviously, it can vary state to state, but as far as I know, in New York, 55 is a state, miles per hour, and it's a back roads. If it's a city-like area, then yeah, you will have to do 30, 35 miles per hour. That's most likely going to be the case. So, I got called, to slow down and, no more violations. And I'm like, all right. So I heard that, cool. And then they were like, and it kind of hit me with the text, like, you know what, just come in. I'm like, all right, I'll come in. Made a U-turn. I followed Google Maps. It's not the maps that they have us on, but I followed Google Maps. Google Maps says go 55 miles per hour. So, and I'm looking at the strip on the back end. I'm like, I'm driving for at least about a minute or two. Haven't seen a speed limit sign yet. So I'm like, all right, well, if Google says go 55, and I don't see the speed limit sign, I guess I'm going 55. I got about to like 48-ish till the camera said slow down. And when that happened, I'm like, what you mean slow down? And then literally I see within the distance a speed limit sign. That sign said 45. Right, literally before the camera said that, I see the sign way down the street. By the time I get a bit more closer to it, it's 45. Now, mind you, I said 48. That ideally, there's no, as far as I can tell, it's okay. Even looking at the information that I looked up, it's okay to go 5 over. Maximum is ideally 8. And this is talking about like just general driving. Maximum is ideally 8. Obviously for like highway situations more so than like actual normal driving. But if you were to go over, as far as I remember, it's 5 below and 5 above the actual speed limit is the maximum. Anything past that, then obviously, problems. So I try to maintain that. The car not, mind you, I'm driving a truck. The car doesn't have the truck has not the best acceleration, yada, yada. And I get flagged for that too. So now I'm 3 on my name. I'm like, okay. All right. I take full accountability. I mean, it did happen. I'm not going to say it didn't happen. It's just funny how, like, The map said 55. I'm fully aware that, at least I'm aware of, and I could be completely wrong, that state law, you can do 55 in certain parts of the state, obviously, as long as it's not city-like. If I can't find anything, and if it's like a very narrow driveway, or not driveway, pathway, then yeah, you should probably do more like 40, 30, or there's like a lot of tight turns. I'm talking about literally a straight, like a long straight, like a straight shot that's like a good maybe 6 miles out, and there's no like real turning or anything of that nature. 2 cars can at least go by it. It's a back roads. Most back roads I've been on, it's either been 45 or 55. And me landing even just a 48 should not be a problem. But hey, like I said, I've been doing +5 prior. I've hit 8 and 10 prior. Not on purpose, but prior. I've had hitting it. When I notice it, I've damn near slammed the brakes and slow down. Yeah. So I got suspended. So that's how I got suspended. That's all I got here. Which got me to a point where I'm like, you know what? I think I just need to just get me another job. Another job at the least 19 or 20 hours and full time. So I'm looking into that as we speak. And still gonna provide you guys the music and the photography or whatnot. But I just want to let y'all know about that. Like, I got suspended. So if you don't necessarily hear from me in the next few weeks, it's also because I am job searching as we speak. But I prefer the music, photography, and everything else to kick off. With that being said, now going into the real meat of this. This is took me a very long time to get to this point. Constantine is completely right. In the sense of creators and, well, just creators, people that aspire to create. He did something that one of the books I was reading, I believe, like Finding Your Creative Way, not the one that Doshi listened to or read, but there's another one. I forgot his name. It's like a gray book with a circle, I believe it was a circle dot, something like that. It's another creative book. All I know is he mentions that at some point, people that create will tend to go from one part of the journey to another part of the journey. And the reason why they tend to do that is because they've reached their internal pinnacle of that creative state. Like, in some cases, people can push it, proceed onto it, but at that stage, it tends to be a lack of fulfillment. And I understood, because even with me, like picking up DJing, picking up photography, not to saying that I have been fulfilled with what I'm doing with whatever career I am, but it showcases that I'm gonna continuously find different ways to create. That's part of my nature. That's actually part of a lot of people's nature, but that's part of nature. Is you're gonna find different things to create once you fulfill whatever side of creation that you are creating. You're gonna want to create in other ways and other forms. And you're gonna abandon, or you're gonna end up leaving that form. For a prime example, speaking, Ludacris, or any other actor that was something else prior, like a WWE wrestler that went into movies and now they don't really do wrestling like that. The Rock, for example. And for content, not going from streaming to clothing brand, like, it's gonna happen. But the reason why I'm really like nitpicking on this or talking about this particularly is because of the fact of Kai Cenat documenting what he's planning on doing, what he is doing, speaks to what Gary Vee has mentioned and what I didn't understand how to give to you guys. Because in my head, if I was gonna document, it was gonna be more on the lines of like, I still gotta edit this thing. I still gotta, take the video, chop it up, make it look clean, more entertaining. Where it's more like, no, just post it. Like, this is a piece of the journey that should be recorded, and for the person and per se the audience that I'm building, that should be documented and shared. Especially I want to build a culture on it. So I say that to say, like, with what Carson is doing, I'm gonna end up copying that ideal same format. Where, and I say this in the sense of, like, when I do recordings in my music, because I've done this for photography, not necessarily knowing it in the same context, but when I do music moving forward, when I DJ certain events, or when I get back into DJing, I'm not sure how I would do that per se with dancing. I teased it and I just couldn't because of copyright reasons, but I think I'm more so harping on music and photography, where the entire behind the scenes of the entire clip of me making whatever song I'm making, my thoughts behind it, what's going on as I do it, and how it's being done and whatnot, just taking that and just throwing it on YouTube from beginning to end. Like, not really chopping anything unless it's obviously sensitive information, or wanting to not let you guys know about something right there and then. But just having those, talks of, like, what I'm thinking about, what I'm going through. Like, even right now, like, with everything I'm gone through with the suspended, and I've been suspended so far since yesterday. They were supposed to send me to training last night or this morning, but Verizon had this an outage. I gotta contact them to figure out if they're gonna send it to me tonight, because ideally I'm supposed to work tomorrow, but since I couldn't complete my training today, ideally, based on what they said, I can't come back in until then, so I can't go in tomorrow, which means the next day I work is Sunday. So there's just a lot. And I'm also trying to bring my girl out to somewhere for Valentine's. So just a getaway, somewhere that we don't gotta, like, really worry about. So I would tell you, but I'd rather just wait until I get to the part until I get closer. Because last thing I need is for her to then decide to see my YouTube account and be like, oh, this is what he was talking about, and now she knows where we're going. It is that. And then I gotta pay off this car. So right now, the optimal move is to wait, apply for jobs. If I don't hear nothing back from them tomorrow, I'm gonna end up DoorDashing again. I gotta get back to my platinum status, particularly because I had the ability just to start, not have to worry about scheduling, and I can pick up, a lot of pay for that. And right now, I mean, it'll be just helpful just to knock out here and there bills. That's the plan right now, because I'm not about to sit here and just soak and just wait for an opportunity for me to work again. Like, we're just gonna make it happen. And since I'm going back to the gym, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use that to, like, help my mindset. Like, it's clearing myself up a bit. I did say I want to make gym content. Hold down there. Hold down. just hold down a little bit. And I'm gonna use my DJI a lot more, so you will see that in the context of, like, me making behind the scenes content and whatnot. Honestly, a lot of this, when I keep thinking about this, it's just staying in Binghamton is just, it makes it so much more difficult. And it's like, I'm not saying anywhere else is gonna be better in terms of just getting access or the opportunity, but it's like, y'all seen so far what I've been through, what I've been discussing and whatnot. It is very difficult. Like, I'm gonna do another shout out again. I've been doing shout outs for this person and everybody else in the Discord for a hot minute. Shout out to Nicole, because if she is watching up to this point in this video, one thing I did want to talk to her about was, like, doing photography for the 3D prints that she does. That way she has an increase of sales because of how clean and aesthetic I can make them look. Excuse me. Making it look one-to-one in real time with proper lighting and proper shooting. Doesn't feel like it would be a nice way to like give her back how she helped me in the last like year or two, or yeah, how she helped me in the last like year or two. She knows what I'm talking about. If she don't, she can DM me. But I mean, that would be a nice way to let that happen, and maybe work on something together in that sense. Now, there is another potential way I can just buy all this, is I can actually tag team with my girlfriend doing weddings. And my thing is, if I'm going to do that, I don't want to be the marketer in that sense. And from what I've like kind of like get at is, well, no, I take that back. I don't want to be a marketer. I don't want to be a promoter, because I don't want to be known as a wedding guy, etc. Yada yada yada. It's just not me. But as far as my girlfriend, I mean, that is up her alley. Obviously, that is where one can make money. So I'm going, if somebody books my girlfriend for makeup, then I will shoot that wedding. However, that's not the case. Do not try to separate me from shooting weddings. 1, I gotta be there all day. 2, I still gotta do editing prior to that. 3, gotta come up with scheduling, figuring out a checklist of what needs to be getting shot of, extra shots, prints, flyers, booklets. I mean, obviously these are standard stuff when it comes to photography, but it's just work that I prefer to do more so on a portrait level, just on one-on-one, or a group shot or a brand shoot, not necessarily for a wedding. It's one of those, like, you can't redo that. Once that's done, it's done. Birthdays per se, anything else can technically be redone. Either a later date or a different date or the next year, whatever case would be. But weddings, just one-offs. Hence why, technically speaking, it does cost a lot. But a lot of people want to be cheap about it because, yeah, they don't know the actual intricacies of things. As far as what I can tell up here in Binghamton, as far as everywhere else, it seems like people understand. Binghamton's just where the area was like, yo, like, why is it this? Why is it this? Why is it this? And it's like, well, everybody else gets the picture when you step out of this. But yeah, nonetheless, appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for listening to this. More of this will be coming. Let me go take off to go to the gym. I'm gonna go to the gym for about an hour, come back, pick my girlfriend up, and go grocery shopping. She's asleep right now. She stayed up last night, going to work. That's all like that. Right now, everything's a bit of a struggle. Like, her getting enough hours in, or even finding a job that would like suffice me in a similar boat, having a job that would suffice. And like I said, all this just because I feel like, I think I mentioned this in the prior video, but I did. Binghamton just doesn't have for most jobs, the capacity to sustain a worker that wants to work a full-time position. You're likely to get a job that's like 30 hours or less. Binghamton just doesn't have that. And again, for most jobs, there's quite a few jobs that you can be paid $19 an hour, get full-time and be consistent with it. But that's not most cases. Like, if you want full-time, consistently, you're looking at most like a minimum wage job. If you want a job that's more than minimum wage, I mean, you want the consistency and whatnot, you're spreading thin and you're less likely to find it. Unless it's a warehouse job, and warehouse is still finicky, which is what she's ideally doing. There's another job at a restaurant that I've seen, but I'm not sure they're going to guarantee me hours like that. And a lot of times, too, it's also based on, like, students being in Binghamton, because once the students are indefinitely gone, I've been at jobs where I've been cut from a 38 or 45 hour work a week to, like, 20, 24. Because as soon as a student leaves, it's like there's no real point, because not a lot of people out here spending that much money and it's not that popularized as a population out here in Binghamton for a lot of these jobs, especially like small businesses. And it's not even just small businesses. It could be like regular corporate businesses that just don't have the people coming in that frequent. I.e., like, you know, let's say Sporting Goods or Target or McDonald's, like those places don't have that many people. So it's like, why I have so many people on the clock, but not many people even around here, and that part sucks during the summer because like it's 3-4 months of just barely anybody here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a long ass video, I know. This is just me talking about 3 different points. Like I said, preach. I appreciate you guys as always. I was watching the cars go by and looking at myself like, oh, I need to go to the gym. It's 4:03. I want to be back before 5:30. All right. See y'all.